Good morning, everyone. Hello, guys. Just checking here if the sound is okay, if everything's working fine. Just give me a second because I can only check once I'm live. How are you doing, guys, today? Can anyone say if the sound is working? Yes. So the sound is working. I can see. So I'm just going to reduce the volume here. Okay. So, guys, I hope you guys are enjoying this beautiful Sunday. We have a beautiful light outside. It's quite nice. Yesterday we got a bit of rain some time of the day. Today seems to be quite clear. So I hope everyone is enjoying it and everyone will enjoy later on. So thanks for all of being here today, Just organizing here. Okay, guys. So in order for us to start, I have here some nice familiar faces. I have here Roberta, of course. I have here Amanda. Good morning. Amon, how you doing, man? Good morning. Karina. So I have here Natalia now. Natalie, sorry. Thanks for being here, guys. So Camila. So in order to start, guys, we're going to start with our initial prayer as usual. Daniela just came, but let's close our eyes. Just if you guys feel comfortable for doing that, of course. Let's take a deep breath. Let's be thankful for the life that we have. Let's be thankful for all opportunities which the spirituality has given to us in order to progress. Let's be thankful for all the friends that we have, even if they're here in Dublin, in Brazil, or somewhere else. Let's be thankful for all the memories that we carry in our hearts from those ones that made our life special. Let's be thankful also for all the challenges that we had faced before and is still going to be facing, because that's the way for ourselves to progress in order to understand better the law of God. Let's not forget, however, that despite all the challenges we're going to have to be facing, God is always going to be a father of love who is going to give to us all the opportunities and tools in order to overcome the challenge that we have. Thanks for the opportunity of being here today, giving another speech, talking about Spiritism in Ireland. I'm very thankful. Thank God, and so be it. Okay, we have here, as I said, Daniela, as usual. Thanks for your presence. Silvia Góes, she used to be in Dublin. I think she's in Portugal now. Guys, today I'm going to be talking about something which sometimes we may forget, or we can take it that as like quite philosophical. But we have to understand that our thought, according to Spiritism, André Luiz and Emmanuel, more than any other spirits, Joana de Angelis also, of course, they explain to us that our thoughts, they are quite solid in the spiritual world. Here, I cannot touch my feelings, I cannot touch the internet, I cannot touch the light. But science has proven to us that light is something quite solid, in the universe. Perhaps our hands cannot touch light because we are not in the vibration of light. So everything is a matter of vibration. And for the thoughts, it's the same. We cannot see the thoughts, we cannot touch them. But André Luiz explains to us that our thoughts, they're something almost material, which they are connected to us. I'm going to try to explain a little bit about this here today. For those who knows much more than me, I know there are some people who have read so many books of André Luiz, Chico Xavier, the works of Kardec. If please, if I forget something, please forgive me. And also, if I perhaps say something that you guys may not agree, please forgive me also. But I'm using all the thoughts which I'm going to be sharing here today are based on the work of André Luiz, Emmanuel, and Kardec. We have here also Jirsi. Oh, nice to see Jirsi here. We have here Patricia. Good morning, Patricia. We have Anna Daniela. Good morning, guys. So we're going to start. I'm going to share my screen, guys. There we are. So the speech today, I have this name, but could be simply understanding our thoughts. But I'm calling understanding our constant thoughts according to Spiritism. And you guys will understand why I say constant thoughts, not only simply thoughts. Stephen here in the morning. Thanks, Stephen. Nice to see you here, my friend. So let's start. We have here the book Thought and Life by Emmanuel and Chico Xavier. And Emmanuel here in this book, he describes 100% how our thoughts, they work in our mind and how we kind of start to become slaves of our thoughts once we are not paying attention on what we are thinking. He basically explains to us the importance of our thoughts in our life. And he explains also that in the spiritual world, everything that we think connects us, is connecting our perispirit. For those who doesn't know, our perispirit, some people may call it aura or something like this, is our spiritual body. It's like for the spirit, it's something material. Actually, according to Kardec, it's something semi-material, but we don't see our perispirit unless you're a medium. You may see it. So everything that we connected with, it's kind of glued on our perispirit. Okay, it's like if we throw a lot of glue on our body, and then we go to the carnival, for example, and we have a lot of that kind of how you call purpuring. So if you are walking the carnival with glue and there is purpuring in the air, it's gonna glue on your body. And André Luiz explains to us and Emmanuel that our thoughts is like this. It's like if we are walking our daily life, whatever we are thinking, we start to connect. They start to glue in our physical body, in our spiritual body. And here in this book, Thought and Life, Emmanuel says, of course, I'm not going to be talking about the book here today, 100%. But I'm going to be getting some parts of the book. And here, Emmanuel says to us, our mind is the reflection of our soul everywhere. So he's saying to us that what we think is the reflection of us everywhere. When he says souls, it means about our inner self, our self 100%, physically and spiritually speaking, okay? So whatever we think is the reflection, and it's here, and it's everywhere in the universe. We kind of share our vibration with other spiritual beings, and of course, we share also with people. I'm going to give an example. That some people sometimes they can be quite negative, and we get close to that people and we say sometimes, in a very popular way, oh, I'm feeling some kind of low energy or whatever. If you are a bit more sensitive, shall we say, even if that person doesn't know anything about the work of Chico Xavier, the work of Kardec, and that person is a complete atheist, that person is feeling that kind of sentiment from the other being hitting himself or herself, because it's not a matter of what you believe or what you don't believe. It's almost like a physics, and I'm going to explain a bit more about this. Okay, Rose is saying that Rose Graven, she's saying that that's what she needs to hear today. So I hope that works for you, because I hope that works for me also. But anyway, thanks. Marcella here also saying good morning. Okay, so I'm gonna keep going. So here, Emmanuel keeps saying that our thoughts create the life we seek as a reflection of ourselves. So we have to understand that the greatest wonders around the world that we think, you may think about the thing that you like the most on earth, or the construction that you think is the most beautiful and enormous, such as the Eiffel Tower, the pyramids, or when you think about the ancient beauties or ancient buttes. I forgot to translate the name properly. But once you think about the ancient wonders, once you think about them, everything started here in the mind of someone. When you think about the mathematics nowadays, all these numbers, all these calculations that we have started in the mind of someone. So we think, we start to kind of feed that thought, start to feed that thought, start to feed, then we start to make it material. It's like, okay, I'm thinking about making a cake, and you start, a cake is supposed to go with flour, chocolate, eggs, whatever. Then you go and buy the stuff that you need, then you start to bake that cake. It's more or less like this in our thoughts. That's why he says to us that we create, this reflection of ourselves with our thoughts. And here, oops, he has another parts of the book which I think they are quite interesting, where he says the reciprocal influence vibrates in all realms of the universe. So Emmanuel is not saying to us only about Earth. What Emmanuel says to us, that the thought that we have here on Earth, in Dublin, could be in São Paulo, could be in Portugal, could be, I don't know, in Galway, in China, whatever, in the most remote island on the globe. That thought vibrates everywhere in the universe, everywhere, even if we cannot even grasp, how powerful our thought is. That's why Kardec says, the Spirit says to Kardec in the Spirit's book, that the fastest thing in the universe is not the light. It's not light which travels really, really fast, but it's our thought, because our thought can go anywhere in the universe in less than half millésimes of a second. So think like this: if you have to go to the sun now with the speed of light, it would take 7 minutes. If you want to go to the most faraway galaxy in the universe with your thought, the Spirit explains to us that the Spirit can go. Of course, it's not simple as like this. Depend on how evolved is the Spirit. But I'm not gonna go on that part today. But what Emmanuel is trying to say to us, that whatever we think, it's everywhere and it goes everywhere. Everything moves and renews under the principles of their interdependence and repercussion. So whatever that we think, it's like it hits something and comes back to us. Okay, so this principle of interdependence and repercussion, it's in the universe and it's everywhere, and everything keeps renewing. So your thoughts, they're renewing because you have different experiences, you are facing different challenges, you are learning, new things. So everything is connected, but everything again here in the thoughts. The idea determines the attitude and the word that commands the actions. So as we said about the cake, you have the idea of the cake in your brain, you have that idea and you want to make it something material, something real. So the idea determines the attitude and the word that commands the actions. So we have the idea, and once we start to have to put energy on it, the action with our actions, it's going to be something solid perhaps, but everything is commanded by the Spirit, by the idea. And here, Einstein, who wasn't a spiritist, but I always like to use him in my speech because I'm really a great admirer of him. He says, everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. So Einstein is saying to us more or less what Emmanuel is saying to us, and what the Spirit said even before Einstein. Einstein, I think he said this in 1920 something. Emmanuel said in the 40s, and Kardec said in the Spirit's book in the 1860 something, 1850 something. But doesn't matter who said first or not, because even the great philosophers such as Plato and Socrates, they have that idea of the word of the thoughts. They knew it, that everything starts with an idea, and it's not only here the idea of our physical brain, because our physical brain is just from the Spirit. So Einstein says, everything's energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but to get that reality. So what Einstein says to us, again, is what the Spiritists say, the Spiritist philosophy says, Emmanuel says to us, once you match that frequency that you are searching with your thoughts, even if you are aware or if you are not aware, because sometimes you're matching a frequency that you have no idea that exists, but you match. Once you take a radio, I think a lot of people nowadays, they don't know what radio is, because we are all well, we use it to our mobile. But before, in the radio, you have to turn the dial to get into the radio that you want. If you like rock and roll music, you go put rock. If you like, I don't know, more country folk music, you go there. So once you match that frequency, it doesn't matter if you don't want to listen to rock and roll, the rock and roll will come, because that radio is for rock and roll. Even if you don't know that radio is rock and roll, you're gonna match that frequency and it comes to you. The same is for in the spiritual world. Once you match that frequency, that reality is gonna come to us, even if you don't want. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy. This is physics. So someone may come to me and say, okay, Vanderlei, I want to get rich. I'm going to think about get rich. Am I going to get rich? Not like these guys. But once he says here, match the frequency, it's not only thinking about something. You have to put effort to it. You have to put energy to it. It takes time, even for good and for bad. Because sometimes we think, oh, let's say if someone says, I have an enemy. Guys, you have no idea how hard it is to get an enemy. If you go, let's say, at your work, just because you said something bad with someone, that person may not like you, that person may think that you are quite bossy or whatever, but that person, more than likely, is not going to become your enemy unless that person has some problems, and we are not here to judge. But that person may not like you. But for that person to hate you and really want all the bads in the world to you, you have to do a lot of bad things to that person. The good also happens. Of course, there are some cases which some people, they hate each other a bit faster or love each other a bit faster. And also Spiritism explains to us, because that perhaps that person, that people, even for good or bad, they are in a very similar frequency already. So even with the smallest action, something may happen. And here, when Einstein saying match this frequency, we can take this here for good and for bad. So if your brain is always thinking, what I mean thinking, I'm not saying that you are going to the street and giving food to the poor. If you do this, by the way, amazing, that you are being the nicest person to that person that always causes troubles to you, that you have all the patience in the world, that you are like Buddha. I'm not saying this, guys. But even with all your difficulties that you have, even with all the vices that you carry inside of your heart and your spirit, if your thoughts, most of the time, they're related to kindness, to patience, to empathy, to forgiveness, to appreciation, to dedication, to doing good to the others, and many other good feelings, uh, more than likely, you're going to be tuned to good spirits. More than likely. The opposite, the same happens. If most of the time you are thinking about selfishness, about pride, fear, anger, hate, laziness, and when I mean thinking, I'm not saying that I'm thinking about hate someone. No, I'm not talking about this. But all your actions and your thoughts, they're related to these kind of feelings. You are feeding lower spirits, shall we say. You are feeding that vibrance, that frequency, that connection. Even if you are the most atheist in the world, I don't believe in anything at all. But if your thought is to do something good to the other, you're gonna be tuned to good spirits. That's why in Spiritism we say, doesn't matter if you believe in God or not, doesn't matter if you believe in Jesus or any other spirit. I don't care what you believe. Spiritism doesn't care what you believe, guys. I'm sorry for the harsh words, but Spiritism doesn't care. What Spiritism cares is what Jesus cares also, that you are nice to each other, that you have empathy to each other, that you try to understand better the other one who perhaps is doing something bad against you, that you have appreciation for life, even for the smallest things that you have. If you are connected to these good feelings, doesn't matter what you believe, you're going to be connected to good spirits. That's what I want to make quite clear. So for you to be a person who are connected with good vibrations, you don't have to believe in anything. If you believe, happy day is good for you. If you don't believe, happy days also. Okay, so it's what we think. it's what matters. Of course, we have to understand that we cannot only be thinking and not taking any action, but more than likely, if you're always thinking about something, you're gonna put into action what you think. More than likely, okay? But of course, if you are just thinking, and are not doing something, better than nothing. But the idea is to think and to act. But in general, guys, we're gonna be acting even if we are not aware that we are kind of acting, or we are really being part of something. Even if you don't think, if you just think, I'm thinking about this, so I'm doing that. Even if you don't see the connection, more than likely we are acting. And here I'm going to explain a little bit about how this, that's why the speech is called understanding our constant thoughts, not only understanding our thoughts, because André Luiz here in this book Action and Reaction, he explains to us more or less how the process of connection, of the spiritual connection, happens. Even as Einstein said here to us, doesn't matter what you believe or not. Once you match that frequency, you're going to be connected with that feeling, that energy, that reality. Okay? And Andre Luis comes here bringing a little bit more about what Spiritism advocates. Okay? Let me just take my tea. Just before we start here, guys, I think Rosie, she wrote here a comment. Let me see. Yeah. So she says, it is most difficult to be with people who are negative. I actually feel that their frequency rejects me without a word being spoken. It's hard to help others in this way. Rose, I 100% agree with you, but at the same time, I have to explain what Spiritism brings to us. So if those people come to you, those negative people come to you all the time, I'm not saying sometimes, you meet someone who is quite negative, but if that kind of people come to you all the time, pay attention. I'm really talking about, I'm really being serious. Pay attention, and 100%, because perhaps that people are coming to you for a reason. For a reason. Why? Because Spiritism explains to us that these kind of feelings and sentiments only come to us also because we have some of that which of the other people has. I'm not saying you have, please don't get me wrong, but what I'm saying to you is more or less these people, they come to us and we think, oh, that person is so negative, I don't like this, I don't like that. But maybe try to, in a really nice and subtle way, to bring some positive to that person. Because if you are trying to help that person, you are doing something good to the other person. Then again, you are being connected to this kind of feelings here. But one feeling that you have to be aware that you must connect with is with patience. Because maybe this kind of people, we don't have much patience for this kind of people. I don't have myself, to be really honest. But once you have, even if you cannot say anything, even if you just are there listening, said yes, yes, yes. But sometimes those people, they just need someone to hear them. They just need someone to hear what they have to say. Even if you don't know how to fix whatever that person is bringing to you. But it's good that you have to try to have certain patience with that people. We have here Alice saying good morning from Portugal. Good morning, Alice. So we're gonna go here, guys. So I'm gonna keep going, guys. If you guys have any questions, you guys can ask. If possible, I'm going to stop and try to reply your question. Otherwise, I do that in the end of the talk here. Okay. So I'm gonna have here. So in the chapter 9 of the book Action and Reaction by Chico Xavier and Luis, I'm not sure about the date, I may have that, I think it's 48. The chapter 9 is called Preparations for the Return to Corporeal Life. In this chapter, in the second part of this chapter, André Luis and Hilario, who is his kind of spiritual friend in the spiritual world, both they are in the lower zones or umbral, as we call in Portuguese, and they are there, and they are kind of they are seeing some spirits close to them, and their spirits cannot that spirits cannot feel and or see them, because their spirits, they're in a much lower vibration. In the spirits book, Kardec the spirit explains to Kardec that good spirits, they can go everywhere in the universe. More evolved the spirit have more power of moving around the universe. The spirit has more power of action and intervene in certain situations. When I mean intervene, I'm not saying that he's gonna be breaking the free will of someone, but intervene with praise and good vibrations to that people or that situation. But the opposite also happens, the spirits explains to us in the spirits book, that lower the spirit, when I mean lower, the spirit is still attached to the material things, to this kind of feelings that we are talking here: selfishness, pride, fear, anger, hate, laziness, and many other ones that we're going to be presenting. Okay? Once you are, André Luiz is seeing that lower spirits, which they cannot see André Luiz and Hilario, because they are, as I said, they are in a different vibration. And these spirits, they can only see spirits of that lower zone. And then Hilario and Luis kind of show themselves to the lower spirits, and the lower spirits starts to talk to them and say, "Hey, who are you?" I'm gonna be using my words to explain. Okay, guys. We are here, and we are from this. They call school of obsessor, or school of avengers, school of those spirits who really wants to do harm to the others. And once they start to talk to each other, Andrea Luiz and Ilari, they pretend that they are lower spirits also, just to understand what's going on. And that spirit which Andrea Luiz is talking with explains how the mental connection with incarnated and discarnated, and also with discarnated spirits. For those who doesn't know, those ones who have passed away, who doesn't have the material body anymore, we call the dead people. Okay, just to simplify, if anyone here today doesn't know about this. So André Luiz explains to us that this connection between the corporeal world and the spiritual world works very, very simply. And before I go there, guys, I'm gonna be asking one thing. Not asking because I don't have really much chance to work to be asking to people, unless you guys wanna write in comments. But for those who work with IT, for those who work with computer, who works in social media, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, or something like this, you guys probably you guys are aware how the search engine works. So you go there on Google and you type there a car, and if you type a car once, the search engine, if you just created your account, you type a car, the Google is gonna say, okay, maybe he likes car. If you type car again, or Google say, oh, he really likes car. And what happens after that? You see that all the ads that we have, they're related to cars. Once we open our Facebook, we're gonna see things about cars. And more you are feeding, not only Google, on Facebook, on YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn, whatever, more you are feeding with that name car of what you are looking for, the algorithm makes something quite personal to you. It's not to everyone, it's to you, because he knows you like car, you like apple, you like green tea, you like chocolate, you like beer, whatever you like, whatever you type there, whatever you see. If you are seeing videos related to exercise on YouTube, if you are seeing videos related to creating, I don't know, animals, whatever, it's gonna be recorded on, let's say, your profile. And then I have a question. Now I have a question, actually. If Google knows what we think, if Google knows what we are looking for, even when no one knows, because sometimes we go and we search in the evening for things that we should have been looking for, and without no one watching us, and we think, oh, no one is seeing me. But still, we're going to be getting ads about the topic that you are looking for on that 3 a.m. in the morning. If Google knows, imagine the spirits. So the concept of search engine, I'm not going to be saying 100% sure. It's not written in any spiritual book as far as I'm aware, but I honestly believe that that concept came from the spiritual world 100%. And it came more or less probably, perhaps not probably, but perhaps from some lower spirits. And then Luis will explain to us. Of course, we can use that for good. So let's say it's a mix. Not it's a mix actually. It's between what it's about who you are. The search engine works like this. Whatever you go there, you feed, it's gonna come to you. Okay. So if Google knows what we think, they know too. And André Luiz explained to us in a really, really simple way. Really, really simple way. André Luiz explained to us that for an obsessor to know what he's going to be doing to someone, what does he do? He goes so close to that spirit and he starts to feel his vibration. He starts to see his thoughts. Because in the spiritual world, the spirits, they can see what we can't see. And he starts to say, okay, Vanderlei, he likes chocolate. He likes baking chocolate, baking cakes with chocolate and the nuts. Okay, nice. I know that. But he's gonna see, okay, he thought about chocolate here today, about nuts. He's thinking about this and that. But once he's doing the scan on my perispirit, he's gonna say, oops. But look, Vanderlei is thinking all the time about money, for example, about how to become rich. So between chocolate, nuts, cameras, exercise, what he thinks the most, he thinks about how to get rich. So what the spirits understand, what this obsessor explains to André Luiz, that then the spiritual world understand that that's our central thought or central desire. That kind of thought is what we think most of the time. So probably that's more or less what makes us alive, what keeps us going, is the energy that we have, is that kind of thought. That's why it's called central desire. Once the spirits, they understand, okay, Vanderlei, he wants to get rich. He always looking for ways to get rich. So they know how they're going to assess me. They know how to work, with me. They're going to start to feed thoughts about getting rich. Not for me to get rich per se, to really get rich and, become famous, whatever. No, but maybe giving some thoughts which they're going to be more or less like traps. They're going to feed thoughts which are related of getting rich, but in a way that's going to harming me or harming the others around me. And once we have to have that constant thoughts all the time, André Luiz explains to us, and also in the medium's books, explained it to us that becomes an obsession. I'm not going to be talking about obsession here, the different degrees of obsession, as the spirits explains to us in the medium's book, because we don't have time for that today, guys, unfortunately. It's a huge topic. But once we are doing this all the time, it becomes more or less like a tattoo on our perispirit. Okay? And then it's easy to understand what Vanderlei likes, who is Vanderlei himself. Here, let me see. Sorry, this one actually I'm going to delete because I said, there we are. So here, guys, we have to understand this. All these thoughts that we have most of the time, once they are negative, they are related to pride and selfishness. That's why the Spirit explains to us in the Spirit's book that these two, they are the worst sentiments ever on earth, the worst sentiments for their spirit. So once you think about power, pleasure, disdain, superiority, violence, materialism, shame, all these kind of hard and bad sentiments, if you guys have one of them in excess, be careful, because perhaps that's your Achilles heel, calcanhar de Achilles. That's your weak point, where spirituality, the lower spirits, they are trying to harm you or trying to feed you with this kind of bad energy. But then you come to me, Vanderlei, but then you are talking about religion. But let's go back to Einstein. Let's go to quantum physics. They don't talk about religion, at least not in the way that we normally we comprehend, but they are talking about syntony, about frequency, and they say about the same thing as Einstein said: if you match the frequency, you're gonna have it. So the obsessors, once they understand that that's what you are thinking all the time, then they know who you are. Doesn't matter if you don't share what you think with anyone, only here. They can read, they can feel what you have. That's why we have to be careful with what we are thinking all the time. But the opposite works also. If you are thinking about good things all the time, these spirits, or if you are thinking, let's say, about possession, if you are thinking about if you have fear all the time, if you are thinking about violence things all the time, once you realize that you are doing this, it's like the radio, guys. You guys can go there and turn the radio into another station, but it's up to you. Now I'm gonna use a phrase of my friend Steven. It's up to you. You have to go and change. You have to go and have that will, that wish, that desire to say, okay, I'm thinking about this. Let me go for something different. And here I have Karina saying to us, how to control your thoughts if it's quite automatic. Okay, Karina, if I knew the answer, I think I'll be selling and be rich. But again, I'm gonna be giving what the spirit says to us. Thanks for your question, Karina. It's great. But in the spirit's book, the spirit explains to us, and Joana de Angelis explains to us quite well, psychologically speaking. Okay, even psychology, I believe the psychology here in the material world, they have this kind of way of explaining it. If you are having this thought that perhaps it's something good, and if you are aware of it, the thing you should do or try to do, because in the beginning it's going to be a matter of trying and error. Because, like, if you want to create a new habit, oh, I want to wake up at 5 a.m. every day and run. In the first week, guys, it's gonna be a nightmare. Believe me, in the first week, you may go one day on Monday. Oh, I'm gonna go and run the world. I'm gonna be the next whatever. I forgot the name of that African guy, the fastest guy in the world. But whatever, I'm gonna be the fastest guy running, in Dublin. Then the second day, you say, okay, but 5 a.m. it's raining outside. It's cold. But if you don't persist, you're not gonna get what you want. So once that kind of automatic thought come to us, once you are aware that these thoughts, they may come, yes, both. Thanks, Karina. Zing, I forgot his first name, but both, yeah, that's the man. He's the fastest guy, I think, one of the fastest guys in the world or something like this. But once you are aware of that thought, Joana de Angelis explains to us that you should kind of stop, say to you that thought, stop. I don't want. You came to my brain, that's okay, but please go away. She really says that, go away. You came to my mind, you came to my brain, to my soul, whatever, but please go away. So Joana de Angelis explains to us that's a matter of trying, a matter of persistence, that when that automatic thoughts, they come to us, that thoughts which are not good, is a matter of persistence, that you have to push them away and just say to them, go with God, thanks very much, but bye-bye, you don't belong to me. I'm trying to say here that in a really kind of a simpler way, okay? You have to let that thought go and understand, like this. I'm learning how to drive now. I never drove a car in my life. I always had motorbike. Now I'm struggling with the clutch, but I'm seeing that my clutch technique is getting better, for example. So what you think about thought is the same. In the beginning, it's going to be really hard, but you have to keep trying every day until that becomes something automatic. Remember, the bad thoughts, they come to your brain automatically. It's true. André Luiz explained that to us. But we have to understand that they don't come to us because the spirits who kind of inspired that energy to us, they are bad spirits. They are not bad spirits. They are spirits who perhaps are ignorant still. And also, guys, let's not forget about one thing. If these thoughts are coming to us, it's because we are allowing that things to come to us. We are not victims here, guys. Sorry for my harsh words. But it's quite simple. Imagine that you are in a car, in a motorway, and it's raining. Your car is a good car, the window is closed. The rain only will come to your car if you open the window. If you open a finger like this, maybe a few drops may come. If you open a bit more drops may come. If you open like this, more drops. If you open the entire window, a lot of rain will come. In our brain is the same. But the thing is, we don't realize. No one tells us that in school once you are small. No one tells us that once we go to different religions, once we go to the religion of our parents. So we grow think that's normal. But Spiritism brings to us this knowledge that's not normal, that we can try to fight this. And the Spirits explains to Kardec, even if it's hard, it's just a matter of a bit of goodwill. The Spirit doesn't say to us, it's a matter of having a huge goodwill. You must be a very purified person. You must be a saint to try to overcome these thoughts. No. The Spirit's book, the Spirit explains to us, is only a matter of goodwill. A bit of goodwill, actually. Yeah, the translation would be just a matter of a bit of goodwill. So we have to have that goodwill to avoid that thoughts. And once they come, try to change. I hope it explained, Karina, a little bit. Sorry if I didn't explain in a very logical way, but I'm explaining the way which is logical to me. And Stephen says here, the catch is to recognize our own thoughts and the suggested thoughts. It is a trick, but practice is the key. Don't be afraid to make mistakes and fix them. Yes, Stephen is saying what Stephen says here is 100% true. And actually, in the Spirit's book, we have this. Kardec explains to ask the Spirits how recognize this a thought which is not my thought. Actually, thanks for this, Stephen. How to recognize, and the Spirit says once that kind of let's say you are here and that first thought come to you very strongly, shall we say, and that thought brings you to you do something which is not really good. Probably that thought came from a lower spirit. Again, not because the lower spirit is bad, guys. No, he's just a spirit who is ignorant. And guys, most of the time that spirit had no connection with you. So maybe some people they may say in them in the spiritist movement, oh, it's my obsessor. I did this and that in the previous life. Now my obsessed with me. No, guys, I'm sorry. It's not true. Sometimes these things, it happens, of course. Yes, it happens. But it's like this. You are in the middle of O'Connell Street, okay? And you are there, and there is no one. 4 o'clock in the morning, the summertime, where 4 o'clock more it starts to get bright more or less. There is no one on the street. You are there alone. The Spirit explains to us that maybe there is a spirit around, and that spirit's not gonna go to you. He doesn't care about you. But once you think about something because of your free will, that spirit says, "Oh, something's thinking about this." Where the connection is, and that spirit gets close to you. So these spirits who sometimes inspire bad things to us, they are not bad spirits, but you are connecting with them. It's not their fault. You are bringing them. Because sometimes there is even a video in a humor website, humor channel, YouTube channel. Unfortunately for my friends, but my English speakers friends, but this channel is in Portuguese. It does some kind of short videos, funny short videos with some spiritist topics. And there is one which is quite nice because the obsessor tried to obsess that person, but that person is obsessing himself. So imagine you have all these kind of bad thoughts. Do you think you need an obsessor to come close to you? No, you don't. You are obsessing yourself. And Andrea Luiz explains about this, the self-obsession. When the person is thinking about those things, and that spirit, they just come to you, like if you were bees getting close to honey. So that's why we are the masters of our soul. We are the masters of our existence. We take the decisions, even if we don't know. But Spirit is bringing to us this knowledge that these things our thought is much bigger than what we think. So brings this sense for us to understand and try to avoid, as Karin was asking. And let me see here. Natalie says to us here, it takes time and practice, and sometimes we will lapse and try to be kind in my healing and learning process. Yes, you're correct, Natalie. You have to be kind with yourself. You have to forgive yourself. Because, guys, it's really hard to overcome a really bad habit. It's the same. If you, as I said, if you want to go and gain muscles, you have to go to the gym all the time. If you want to become good at something, you have to practice. I'm starting a new job recently. I'm struggling quite a lot. So if I don't study and practice what I have to do at my new job, I'm going to be in trouble. But if I persist myself, if I have the goodwill, I'm sure I will overcome. So, but even once you fail, you have to try to overcome. As Natalie said, it's perfect. But here, guys, just to keep going here, we have two thoughts here, which two phrases. One comes from Buddha, the one comes from Shakespeare, and the one from Buddha is all that we are is the result of what we have taught. The mind is everything. What we think, we become. So Buddha is saying to us what André Luiz says, what Jesus said to us, and maybe someone is going to come to me and say, but Jesus never said that. It's not in the Bible. Yes, Jesus said that with other words when he says, whatever your treasure is, your heart might be also. When Jesus said that to us, like Buddha here, he's saying to us, whatever you are feeding, whatever you are thinking, that's where your heart, your true self will be. That's why in Portuguese we have that kind of saying, tell me who you walk with and I'm going to tell you who you are. Diga-me com quem tu andas, eu te direi quem és. But in fact, Joanna de Angeli explained to us, it's not who we are walking with which define us, but it's the choices that we make. Because once the choice that we make, then we're gonna be choosing the company that we are walking with. That's what matters, not the person that you are walking with, perhaps, but the choice that we make. The choice that we make makes us to understand who we are connected with. Does that make sense, guys? And Rose is saying here, thank you for now. You're a great teacher. I think you have a great future in teaching and enjoying this special day. I don't see myself as a teacher at all, Rose. Thanks very much for that. You are just flattering myself, but thanks. I appreciate you enjoying. But let's see here what Shakespeare says also to us. There is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. So there is no bad and wrong. Whatever you think, once you think, you make that something which becomes a reality. So there is no good or bad reality. It's what we think. Once we think, we make that reality ourselves. So we can go. I'm gonna just jump on one slide here. I'm gonna bring this that picture here of these two horses. You see here in one side, you have two horses fighting. You see, they are in the wild. I don't know, maybe in America somewhere. I don't know where they are, but it seems that they are in the wild, and they're strong horses. They're fighting with each other. André Luiz explains to us that our thoughts, they're like wild animals, wild horses. They are there. They are just like living day after day. They don't think. They are just using their animal instincts. But in the opposite way, and André Luiz keeps saying, actually, sorry, that once we train that thoughts, once we teach that thoughts, how to work for ourselves and not against ourselves, it becomes like the other horse. You can addestrate that horse, that thought. Guys, please don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that's correct to go and be, addestrating animals. I'm just using an expression here, okay? I'm not trying to advocate anything against animals or anything like this. It's just a picture to try to explain to us that our thoughts, they're wild, but we can control it. And once you can control it, our thoughts, they become it becomes a tool for us in order to improve ourselves. because then you think better, you know how to choose better. That's why in the Gospel according to Spiritism, we have this beautiful phrase in the chapter 6, the law of loving one another's neighbors. Oops. Yeah. Neighbor, it's wrong. Love one, the law of loving one of another neighbors as yourself. And the spirit of Lazarus says to us here, love is the highest sentiment. Instincts are raised to the height of the degree of progress accomplished. At their origin, humans have only instincts. More advanced and corrupted, they have only sensations. More educated and purified, they have sentiments. So, the spirit of Lazarus explains to us like this, that if we are only feeding our animal instincts, you know, in the beginning, once we're only feeding our animal instincts, whatever we have there, they weren't feelings, they weren't really good sentiments. They were just, these instincts, these animal instincts that we have. But more we start to progress, it starts to become sensations to us. But once you really want to evolve, once you are really kind of trying ourselves our to improve ourselves every day, these sensations become sentiments. And love is the master of all these sentiments. I'm not saying that we're gonna be able to do this, you know, maybe in this incarnation, maybe in 10, 12, 15, 100 incarnations. Sometimes you're not able to do this to accomplish this level of spirit. Takes time, takes reincarnation. But as some of you said here, I think it was Natalie and Stephen also, we have to forgive ourselves and keep going. But once we understand, once we have spiritism, once we are aware of the Spirit's book, the works of André Luiz and Joana Janges, for example, then we start to understand that our sentiments, they are very powerful. Our thoughts are very powerful, and they become sentiments. They can become good feelings or bad feelings. It's up to us in the end of the day. It's really, but how do you come to me and say, Vanelli, it's up to me? I had no idea that thing existed. I had no idea that in the spiritual world, the thought was something almost material, that thought connects with me. You had no idea. Now you have. Now you guys can go for the search of for the work of Kardec in the Spirit's book, the work of André Luiz, and try to understand more. Because you cannot say in the future that whatever you were thinking, whoever is here watching me here today, all these names here, Patricia, I just saw her here now, Patricia, our great friend, whoever is here watching this speak today cannot say once you go back to the spiritual world or even this life that you have no idea that your thoughts had this power. Now you know that our thoughts have a huge power, and that thought is the strongest force in the universe. Not the strongest, perhaps, but the force which conducts our free will, our actions, our desires to improve, our desires to become better people. But I cannot become the best person today. I still struggle with this and that. I still have hard feelings against my boss, my flatmate, my mom, who I left in Brazil, or my father. I still, have some hard feelings because they did this to me. My mom used to spank me. My father, whatever. Spank because in English it means another thing. Sorry, guys. In Portuguese, you guys would understand. So maybe your parents, they hit you once you are small or something like this. But now you understand that the only way to try to control your thoughts is because of you want, because of your free will. And if you start to see the others as brothers, as people, as you are, full of vices, full of fears, people who are struggling to forgive themselves or to keep going, once you see them with a bit more empathy, it's going to be easier, to once that thoughts that you have to normally that would have that person is lazy, that person doesn't want to do anything, or that person is bad. Before you think this, or even if you think this, you can control your thought and say, hey, that person is not lazy, that person is not stupid, That person is not me. Maybe that person is different than me, and maybe that person is reacting like this because that person had a different life. That person had a different story than I have. So that's why once you stop judging the others, you are able to control better your thoughts because you are putting in your brain, in your mind, yourself in the place of the other. And that's the great lesson which Spiritism brings to us, which the gospel of Jesus brings to us, but not only in the religious aspect. Once we have here Einstein again talking about matching a frequency, once you get quantum physics, they always say to us, whatever we are connected with, we start to become this. Then my question is, guys, do you want to become someone who is anger all the time, who hates the others all the time? If someone says anything to you, you think inside of you, oh, that person, I don't like that person is my enemy. Do you want to be that person who sees someone, you know, getting, a good job or improving profession in their lives? And do you want to be that person who have jealous of that one? Or do you want to be someone who appreciates life and perhaps says, okay, today I don't have the best car, I don't have the best job, uh, you know, maybe I'm a bit sick, but it will pass and things will get better. Once you are connected with this kind of feelings of appreciation for life, once you're connected with this kind of sentiments of forgiving the others, then you start to connect with good spirits and they come to you and they start to inspire you also. Yes, the lower spirits, they inspire us, that's very true, but once you are elevated, the good spirits, they start to live to uh, um, inspire you also. That's why once you get someone who is able to be resilient, once you get someone who really appreciates life and really tries to be their best version of themselves today, someone who is really trying to be aware of their thoughts, that person starts to be assisted by the good spirits. So, in the end of the day, it's a matter of what we choose, how we choose to connect our thoughts. But let's not forget to summarize here, things they start on our spirit, on our brain, on our mind. If we start to think that more and more than likely that's going to become solid, that's going to become real. Once we think, all the thoughts that we have, they're going to give to us reactions. But once that becomes material, something solid, the reactions might be stronger. They might be a bit more difficult to deal later on with. That's why when a bad thought comes, try to don't give life, try to don't feed that bad thought. Okay, you came bad thought, but go away. I don't want you for today. Today is a beautiful Sunday in Dublin. Whatever thought of anger and selfishness, of hate which I have for someone that came to me, I'm not yet able to not thinking about this because these thoughts they come to me, but you can repel and say, okay, go away. I'm gonna think about something good. So you're going to substitute a bad thought for a good thought. And here we have two comments. We have Dirce here saying to us, there we are. We are like radio device. Yes, we tuning where we want. Let's tune to our thoughts on a good radio. We can change. It's difficult, but we can change. So Dirce said everything. So we are like radios. So once you think about radio that we start to have radio in what 100 years or 120 years ago, that idea came from the spiritual world, you know. But anyway, guys, that's the talk for today. I'm going to bring it here. So let me see here. Just before we do our final prayer, for those who would like to study a little bit more about Spiritism or about different topics that we have in the Spirits book, we are inviting you guys, if you wish, to send an email to us at to spiritismisland@gmail.com. So once you send an email, Tanya or Nate, they will reply to you and give the Zoom link so you guys can get into the Zoom meeting that we have every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Everyone is welcome. There is no background related. So if anyone here is for the first time today, and if you want to study the Spirit book, you are more than welcome. All these studies are done in English, but even if, let's say, if you are Brazilian, if you are from another nationality, don't speak English very well, I would recommend you to go, because then you start to use, it's nice for you to hear the words of Spiritism in English. So anyone is welcome. It's just a matter of, if you guys want, a matter of goodwill. Okay. Here we have some people saying thank you guys, thank you very much. I appreciate that you guys are here today. Appreciate the kind words. So also, just to remind everyone, every Tuesday and every Thursday during the week, of course during the week because it's Tuesday and Thursday, so every Tuesday and every Thursday at 7:15, we have our live, which is presented also in America by the Kardec Radio, who are our friends in America. You know, they help us to spread Spiritism to more people in Dublin, America, and everywhere around the world. So every Thursday and every Tuesday and Thursday from 7 p.m. we have our talk. Sometimes we have a special guest, or sometimes it's gonna be us, the workers of the spiritual side of Ireland, talking a little bit, having a conversation. It's not like today, which is one person only. More than likely, it's gonna be 2 or 3 people, you know, chatting with each other, explaining a bit more about Spiritism. And also for those who are asking us on Facebook or by email, when are we going to be back at the Lantern Center? As we said before, guys, we have no idea, especially now with the COVID in Dublin. We may go to the level 5 or even the level 3, doesn't matter. The Lantern Center was not going to be, we're not going to be able to open the Spiritist Center in the Lantern Center at the moment. So I don't think we're going to have any presential meeting until at least January, February, or March. I'm not sure, guys. But once we know, guys, you guys can be sure that we're going to be the first one to share the good news with you guys, because we want to meet you guys. So many people here, you know, such as Daniela, you know, such as Patricia, I've seen sometimes, you know, Kaka, you know, and all the work that we have in the spiritual side of Ireland, you know. Some people I haven't seen, like, I know, since February that we have the quarantine. So Karina Maria also, I haven't seen Patricia Rodrigues. So a lot of people that we normally used to see every Sunday, we're not seeing for a long time, you know. So we really want, but we cannot do that at the moment. But anyway, I hope I didn't forget anything. Yes, there will be some events related to Spiritism, but they're gonna be run by the guys from the UK, from Bus. I don't have here the poster yet, but we're gonna be sharing that in our Facebook page, because Steven said that Steven said last Thursday once we were live, so I can share that with you guys. But once we have more information, we're gonna be sharing our lives or in our Facebook page. Thank you, Anna Danielle, also. So guys, in order to do this, to close, I would like to invite everyone, if you guys wish to close your eyes, to take a deep breath. Again, we would like to take this chance to take the opportunity of being here another Sunday among friends talking about Spiritism. Today, I would like to make a very special wish for myself and to each one of us here who are watching. The wish is not to ourselves, actually, to our mentors. That our personal mentors and the spirits who guides us get close to us, inspire us in order to act better. Let's mentalize our mentors or those who passed away already, and we have them in our memories. Let's mentalize and ask for their help and guidance. But let's not forget that in order that that guidance and help may occur, we have to open ourselves to it and connect ourselves with our mentors and the good spirits. So let's try to make this connection every day. Let's try to make this connection with the good spirits all the time in order that they may assist us in our daily lives, taking our decisions, in order to choose best, in order to progress. Let's ask the mentors of Ireland, the mentors who are supporting nations. Let's ask our master, our mentor Jesus, to support all those workers who are working to fight against COVID, who are working to save lives. Let's ask support and guidance to inspire those ones who are working in order to find this vaccine. Let's ask the high evolved spirits to inspire the good minds that we have on earth in order to be able to pass through this difficult situation as soon as possible. Let's not forget that the goodness that we want for us must start with ourselves. So let's be thankful, let's appreciate life, and also let's try to be kind to one another, as Jesus taught us. Thank God, so be it. Okay, guys. Thank you very much. So I see you guys on Tuesday or Wednesday. I miss you guys also. I miss you guys. I miss you, Patricia. I miss you, everyone. So everyone here are great people, and I miss you all, guys. Take care. Thanks, Juliana. Thanks, everyone. Bye, guys.